what has 4 legs, a long neck, and an hump? If you guessed a camel, then you are correct. Camels are instantly recognizable for their unique shape and iconic hump. They are truly amazing animals, which features that allows them to survive and thrive in harsh, barren conditions. Camels are best known for their legendary ability to survive a long time without needing to drink water. Camels have been a means of transport from early Bible times, in the time of Abraham and in the time of Isaac, and are still important means of transportation in Israel and in the Middle East today. They carry heavy burdens for their owners, but if you have ever seen a picture of a camel, then you may remember they have very long legs, a very broad feet that prevents them from sinking in the sand. Most camels are 5 to 7 feet high and are taller than many horses. So, if it is that you are wondering how is it that the owner gets the burden onto the camel each day, this is how it is done. So in the morning, the camel must kneel down so that its owner can load the day's burden onto its back. A good owner knows just how much burden a camel is able to carry for the day's journey. You see, the camel then simply follows its owner, who has the greater responsibility of leading the way safely through the desert. At the end of the day, the camel kneels down so that its owner can remove the burden and the camel rests. Like the camel, Jesus takes our burden, and in turn, he asks us to bear his light burden. Christ's burden is simply seeing people liberated from a life of death to life eternal. Like the owner of the camel, the Father will help us to do our part in lifting the heavy burdens and replaces it with unfathomable peace. The invitation is given in Matthew 11 verse 28. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And if that is not sufficient, hear what the prophet Isaiah says. The prophet Isaiah says that, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. What promise God has given to his people. Like the camel who kneels before his owner, the Bible invites us to kneel before our Maker. Like the camel who kneels morning and evening to load and to unload, the psalmist invites us. He said in Psalm 55 verse 17, evening and morning and at noon I will pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. What promise God has given to his people. When we cry morning, when we cry evening, and at noon while we are crying, he will hear our voice. So what is it that we need to do? We need to consecrate ourselves to God in the morning. Make this your first work. Let your prayer be, take me, O Lord, as wholly thine. I lay my plans at thy feet. Use me today in thy service. This is what God wants us to do. Will you give him your heavy burden in exchange for his light one?